story was written by Tobias D., and this is the first public posting of it. Title: My Family's Curse. Part: The Breakdown. Journal entry, April 10th. I'm losing track of time. The days are starting to blur together, and I can't tell when I'm awake or when I'm dreaming anymore. Everything feels off. The world seems distant, like I'm looking at it through a fogged-up window. Even the sunlight feels wrong. Too dim, too cold. I'm not the only one feeling it. The kids are changing. There's this emptiness in their eyes that wasn't there before, like they've already given up. I try to keep things normal, cook dinner, help with homework, watch movies together, but it's all falling apart. The fear is always there, hanging over us like a storm cloud that never goes away. Last night, it was Henry. He's only 5 in the dream. We were at the zoo. Henry's always loved animals, especially the giraffes. He was laughing, running ahead of me to get a closer look. I remember smiling, watching him jump up and down in excitement. But then I noticed something was wrong. The giraffes weren't moving. They were just standing there, perfectly still. Their necks craned unnaturally toward the sky, like statues. Henry kept calling out to them, but they didn't respond. That's when I saw it. A dark shape moving in the background, slinking through the shadows behind the cages. At first, I thought it was just an animal, but it wasn't. It was something else, something wrong. Before I could react, the fence around the enclosure collapsed. The giraffes toppled over like dominoes, and the dark shape moved toward Henry. I screamed for him to run, but he didn't move. He just stood there, frozen in place, staring at the approaching darkness. I tried to get to him, but my legs wouldn't work. No matter how hard I struggled, I couldn't move. All I could do was watch as the shape engulfed him, swallowing him whole. He didn't even scream. I woke up with his name on my lips, but when I ran to his room, he was there. He was fine, at least physically, but when I held him, he looked up at me with those big, innocent eyes and whispered, "Mommy." I saw the giraffes die. Journal entry, April 12th. They're fading, all of them. I can see it in their faces, in the way they carry themselves. It's like the life is being sucked out of them, little by little, every time we go to sleep. Nathan doesn't talk much anymore. He just sits in his room, staring out the window like he's waiting for something. I tried to ask him how he's feeling, but he just shrugged, said he didn't care. Olivia's not much better. She used to love reading, drawing, anything that let her escape into her imagination. But now, every time I see her, she's just sitting there, staring blankly at her sketchbook, the pages untouched. Sophie, my little ball of energy, barely speaks. She used to ask me 1,000 questions a day, bouncing from one thought to the next without taking a breath. But now, silence. Even her laughter has disappeared. They're slipping away from me, and I don't know how to stop it. Journal entry, April 14th, the multiverse. It sounds insane, but it's the only explanation that makes sense anymore. These dreams aren't just nightmares. They're windows into other versions of our lives, where everything goes wrong. And every night, I'm forced to watch my children die, over and over again, in universes where I can't save them. It started small, just dreams, horrible but contained within sleep. But now it's seeping into everything. Yesterday, I was at the grocery store, picking out apples for the kids, when I saw something out of the corner of my eye. It was quick, just a flicker, but I swear I saw Nathan lying on the ground, blood pouring from his head like in the dream. I blinked, and it was gone, but I can't shake the feeling that it wasn't just my imagination. It's getting worse. I don't know if I'm losing my mind, or if the walls between these worlds are starting to break down. The lines are blurring, and I can't tell where one reality ends and the other begins. Journal entry, April 17th. Last night, all 6 of them died. I thought it couldn't get any worse, that I couldn't possibly feel more helpless than I already do. But I was wrong, so wrong. We were at home, sitting around the dinner table. It was a normal night. Spaghetti and meatballs, something I knew they all loved. For a moment, Everything felt almost peaceful. They were laughing, talking, for the first time in what felt like weeks. But then the lights flickered. I didn't think much of it at first, just a power surge maybe. But then I felt it, a cold draft sweeping through the room, chilling me to the bone. The kids went silent, all of them looking at me with wide and terrified eyes. Before I could say anything, the ceiling above us started to crack. Thin lines spiderwebbed out across the plaster, dust falling in soft, delicate puffs, and then the walls began to close in. I tried to move, tried to get them out, but the room was shrinking faster than I could react. The walls pressed closer and closer until there was no space left, until we were all crushed beneath the weight of it. I woke up screaming, tears streaming down my face. But the worst part, the part that made me want to crawl out of my skin, was the bruises. They were there, dark purple marks on my arms, as if the walls had actually crushed me in my sleep. I checked the kids, praying that they would be fine, that it was all in my head. But when I lifted Olivia's shirt, I saw them. Bruises, in the same places where the walls had pressed against her in the dream. They all had them. Journal entry, April 19th. There's no escape. I know that now. Whatever this is, it's not going to stop. We're trapped, caught in some kind of loop where the only thing waiting for us is death. I've been doing some research, trying to find answers. I've read about multiverse theory before. Parallel worlds, infinite versions of reality where every possibility plays out. I used to think it was just a thought experiment, something for scientists to debate. But now I know it's real. I don't know how or why, but somehow we've been cursed to live through these other realities. Maybe it's punishment, maybe it's fate, or maybe it's something far worse than I can comprehend. But one thing is clear. Every night, we're pulled into another universe where my children die, and I'm powerless to stop it. The worst part is, I'm starting to wonder if one of those universes is going to bleed into ours permanently. The bruises, the scratches, they're not just dreams anymore. They're real, and if the dreams can leave marks, what happens when the deaths do too? Journal entry, April 22nd. I can't keep going like this. I can't protect them. Can't save them from something I can't even understand. Every night, I go to bed knowing that when I wake up, one or more of my children will have died again. And each time, it feels a little more real, like the line between dream and reality is fraying. I've stopped letting them leave the house. I know it's not rational, but it's the only thing I can control. If I keep them here, maybe I can keep them safe. Maybe I can slow down whatever is happening. But deep down, I know it's pointless. The universe doesn't care about walls, about locked doors and safe rooms. It's already inside, already pulling us apart piece by piece. Charlie asked me today if he could play outside with his friends, and I had to say no. I saw the disappointment in his eyes, the sadness that I've come to expect, but it still breaks me every time. How do you explain to your child that you're not afraid of the world outside? You're afraid of the worlds that live in your dreams. Journal entry, April 25th. I've been thinking more about the dreams, about the way they always end just before my children die. It's always right there on the edge of the moment, but I never see the final second. I'm starting to think that's deliberate, like something or someone doesn't want me to see what happens after. But the more I dream, the closer I get to that final moment, and I'm terrified that one day soon, I won't wake up before it's over, that one of these nights, the dream will play out in full, and when it does, we'll be trapped in that reality for good. Journal entry, April 28th. I saw it. I saw the end. It was Sophie this time. We were back at the park, the one from the very first dream. She was on the slide again, laughing, just like before. But this time, when she disappeared into the darkness at the bottom, I didn't wake up. I followed her. I ran to the bottom of the slide. I found her. She was lying there, still, her body twisted and broken like a discarded doll. And I knew that this wasn't just a dream. This was real, in some other world, some other version of our lives. Sophie was dead. And I had watched it happen. When I woke up, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat there, staring at the ceiling, knowing that in one universe, my daughter is gone, and maybe soon it will be this one. The horrifying revelation. Journal entry, May 1st. I don't know where I am anymore. Every time I wake up, it takes me a moment to remember which version of my life I'm living. The dreams are bleeding through faster now, pulling pieces of themselves into this world, like a virus spreading. 2 nights ago, Olivia died again. We were walking home from school, just the two of us. The sky overcast and heavy with the threat of rain. She was telling me about her day, her voice light and cheerful, but I wasn't really listening. I was too focused on the street ahead of us, on the subtle flickers in the corners of my vision, the cracks in reality. She stepped off the curb, and that's when I saw it. The car. It came out of nowhere, moving so fast it was a blur of metal and glass. I screamed, but it was too late. The car hit her, sending her body tumbling through the air like a rag doll. I remember the sound of her bones breaking, the sickening crunch as she hit the ground. I woke up with my heart racing, Olivia's name caught in my throat. I ran to her room, half expecting to find her bed empty, but she was there. She was alive, but there was something wrong. Her leg. There was a bruise, deep and dark, right where the car had hit her in the dream. She couldn't explain it. Didn't remember getting hurt. I didn't sleep last night. I sat by her bed, watching her breathe, praying that I could keep her safe. Journal entry, May 4th. It's happening. The dreams aren't staying in the dreams anymore. It's like the fabric of reality is starting to tear, and the things I see at night are slipping through the cracks. I can feel it every time I blink. I'm afraid that when I open my eyes, I'll be in one of those other worlds, the ones where my children are already dead. Yesterday, I saw something that nearly stopped my heart. I was washing dishes, staring out the window at the backyard, when I saw Rosie standing by the swing set. She was just standing there, her back to me, not moving. At first, I thought nothing of it, but then I remembered she wasn't supposed to be outside. I dropped the plate I was holding, shattering it on the floor, and ran out to the yard. My mind was racing. How had she gotten out there? But when I reached the swing set, she was gone, vanished, like she had never been there at all. I went back inside, trying to calm myself down. I told myself it was just my imagination, just a trick of the light. But when I walked past the mirror in the hallway, I saw her reflection behind me, standing, watching. I turned around, but there was nothing.